Hey guys, I hope you can hear me. I'm going to be doing the Q&A, the Patreon Q&A live on here, but then I'll try to talk to you guys too. Thanks for coming by, everyone. I appreciate it, guys. Shout out to Phoenix, man. Good patron in here. Alright, yeah, I just want to thank all 77 of my patrons. I know the channel sucks now, guys. I'm really trying. I'm trying to do what I can, but I'm like literally, well, not literally, but, figuratively, I'm walking on thin ice here. And I could just fall through the ice at any second if I make one wrong move. So the videos have to be the way they are for now. It's, unfortunate. I obviously don't want it to be the way it is, but it is. So I appreciate you guys, sticking by me and supporting me and whatnot. And I just wish I can give you guys better, but just right now, I can't. But I'm working on it. So let's get into the Q&A. Steven asks, Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum. Bruh, is it gonna happen? Oh yeah, also guys, there's gonna be spoilers in these Q&As. I can't even... Yeah, spoiler warning. So if you don't want to know what's gonna happen in the manga, don't watch the stream, I guess. Sorry. Steven asks, Assalamu alaikum. Bruh, is it gonna happen? Is Tatsumaki going to rip the association out of the ground next chapter? I'm like a white girl right now. I literally can't even. What are your thoughts on separating the art from the artist? If it's revealed sometime later that a favorite writer or director possessed CP, or abused animals, or molest people, does that affect your support of their work? For me, I start looking for an exit or a replacement after some time has passed, like how I haven't really gone back to Rurouni Kenshin, or how I'll eventually stop acknowledging the Bryan Singer X-Men movies entirely. Not that I like them much anyway. Curious to know what you think. Thank you so much for your continued patronage, Steven. I love you. I love all you guys, and I'm just beyond thankful for what you're doing for me. But let's get into this answer. So yeah, I do think Tatsumaki is going to rip the association out of the ground. I mean, it kind of has to happen. If it doesn't, that would be very anticlimactic. But as for it happening in the next chapter, I'm not sure. I mean, that would mean things are moving a little too fast. Maybe in the next chapter, so like chapter 107, 108 territory. I think that could probably happen then. But it also has to happen more so in the manga than in the webcomic, because Orochi is gigantic and he needs to have a reason to come to the surface, because like how else is he going to get out of the Monster Association? I don't even know how he got down there in the first place. Was he like formed down there? But then like how did he get Goketsu? So there's got to be some way that Orochi can get out of the Monster Association, but that doesn't really matter now, because Orochi is definitely going to fight Tatsumaki at this point. There's no way that Tatsumaki can like go against Giro like she is at the end of chapter 106 without running into Orochi, because we saw what happened. Like the second that Garo had the upper hand against Giro, Orochi stepped in. So that's very likely going to happen here. And I think that's when Tatsumaki is going to pull the base out of the ground with Orochi, and then likely she is going to fight Orochi on the surface. And then I guess, once she pulls the base out, all of the other S-Class heroes and whoever else is down there is going to come with her. So I think this is the point that everyone, along with Tatsumaki, is going to be fighting Orochi all at once or something like that. If you've seen like my old videos before, I had to private them because the Yakuza coming after me. I made a video about what Murata had talked about, leaked stuff from like One's storyboards or whatever info that he had on the upcoming story, and it eventually comes to the point of where everyone is going to be fighting Orochi, unless they changed it, but I don't think that is. I mean, it's just too good to pass up. So yeah, I think that's going to happen in the next couple chapters. 107, 108, 109, that territory. And as for your other question with separating the art from the artist, I personally try to do this. I really do try to separate the art from the artist because I am a fan of art. And, it really sucks that it can be bogged down by the person who created it because of the bad things that they have done in their past. But there kind of has to be a line that's drawn. Like in the case of like people having CP or abuse or things like that, like it certainly is going to tarnish what the art is. I mean, it doesn't change that the art is magnificent or a masterpiece in itself. Like, just because a person is a piece of crap, it doesn't really change that. The artist still could be objectively great. Just, it kind of tarnishes it when you observe it or you look at it because you're always just going to be thinking about what a piece of crap that person is. And that's kind of what's happened with me with, like, Bill Cosby, as with, I'm sure, with everyone else. Like, Bill Cosby, for the most part, was considered to be one of the greatest comics of all time. But now it's like whenever you go back to listen to, like, his stuff from the 70s, you're just going to think about what an awful human being he was. But it doesn't change the fact that it was funny. It just, it's odd, really. But it's just too bad, All right, next question. Stephen N. Hey, Shonen, haven't asked a question in a while. Either way, I've stayed a patron. Thank you so much, Stephen. The question I wanted to ask was, how powerful would Darkshine be if he ate monster cells? Keep up the good work. So, on the surface, he would be incredibly strong, but we've never really seen anyone as strong as Darkshine eat monster cells. I think the strongest instance that we've seen someone eat cells was like Goketsu, I guess. At least it's implied that he was the strongest person to have eaten monster cells. I mean, Bakuzan ate a whole bunch of monster cells and randomly and luckily was able to become as strong as he did. This isn't like typical. Like they even specifically say it in the chapter, like if you eat too many monster cells, you're likely just going to die or something. But Bakuzan somehow was strong enough to survive eating multiple, so that's why he was able to become a dragon. But Goketsu in his human form, I guess, was like high A class, low S class. It's kind of difficult to really figure out. But just taking a guess, he was around that level. So if someone like Darkshine was able to take the cells and they actually did something, he would for sure already be above Dragon at that point, because it's very likely he's high Dragon in power right now. And then I guess he would become even more durable and tanky than he already is, which would be frightening because, he's almost like unbeatable at this point if he's not taking on like a god level or an above Dragon level guy. Because we know that he can solo friggin' Carnage Mode Carnage Kabuto. So that becoming even stronger for the monster cells would just be crazy. Going towards Boros level, like Meteoric Burst level at that point, I suppose. I mean, he kind of has to be. But also, it would kind of make him psychotic, too. So that might damper his abilities in the end. But, it's always interesting to think about, like, what would happen if these already incredibly powerful characters became even stronger, but through the use of, like, evil strength enhancements, I guess. Raul M asks, yo, what up, Big Z? My question today is, what rank would Asta from Black Clover be in the One Punch Man world? Also, what rank would Batman be with all of his gear and suits? Thank you so much for your continued patronage, Raul. Thank you so much. I just can't thank you enough. But I'm not really too clear on Asta. I've only really dabbled into Black Clover. I mean, I have seen some of his stuff on YouTube, and some of his manga feats too. Like, he's able to survive, like, that beating that he received from the Licht, or however you say that name. So he's already incredibly powerful there, but I'm just not entirely sure. So I'll say at the minimum, he's definitely S-class. I mean, he has the strength and speed and the magic skills to already be an S-class hero, but I'm not really sure how further upon the rankings he would be. And then as for Batman, well, I mean, there's so many different iterations of Batman. And I'm sure there's some instances of Batman where he's extremely strong, probably stronger or just as strong as like someone like Puri Puri Prisoner. At least I remember reading that somewhere. So just like the vague general idea of Batman, along with his gear and suits, realistically would just be like a really, really high-ranking A-class guy. I mean, of course, he could be S-class based off of his intellect and his money that he has, but he's never really shown to be, like, outrageous the way the Child Emperor is, at least in my opinion. Like, I don't really know too much about Batman, I mean, other than what, the casuals do. But just, I mean, he's pretty much just like a human, right? Just, he's really intelligent and he has a lot of money and gear. So, I mean, that's putting him, like, high A-class, maybe low S-class, I suppose. Phoenix Man. There you go. There's your question, bro. Greetings, Shonen. You may think this is strange, but the Monster Association are big fans of your content. No, I don't think that's strange. I mean, I've been spitting so much Monster Association propaganda at this point that I would be surprised if they weren't fans of mine. Giro asked me to make a donation to you. However, our budget is tight, so this will have to do. My question for you is, which heroes would you have liked to see fight the Monster Association executives? Do you like the matchups the way they are, or do you wish they were different? I enjoy your content, and I hope you make it through these rough times. Take care, Shonen. Hey, thanks a lot, Phoenix Man. I really appreciate that, bro. So, the fights for the most part are fine. I like the way they are, the way that they turn out. But if I could choose, I would really like for Goketsu to not have died, and for him to have gone on to fight Bang or Silver Fang. I think most of us would have actually liked this. I don't know. I think Goketsu was kind of wasted, unfortunately. I think he's a really great character, but I don't know. I just would have liked to seen him against other people because the hype and the possibilities for him were just really good. And I was really excited to see more of Goketsu. And don't get me wrong, it's cool the way that he was taken out by Saitama. It's very different, the way that situation was handled. And it's just bittersweet because I would have liked to seen him against somebody like Silver Fang. I think that would have been awesome. And he for sure would have likely pushed Silver Fang to his absolute limit. And that would have been fun to see. And then other than that, I would have liked to see like Super Ally Darkshine take on Overgrown Rover. I think that's like a perfect matchup just to see who can outlast who. Because of course Darkshine could tank Rover's shots. But how many of them, and how long would he be able to do it? And would he be able to like physically restrain Overgrown Rover? That's the kind of stuff I want to see. I think that would be amazing. Just unfortunately, that's not the way that things turned out. But again, thank you so much, Phoenix Man. Nate Dogg. Do you think we'll ever see any one of Boros' species again? Maybe a pissed off relative, or maybe Boros didn't truly die? Would be kind of silly, IMO, if they brought him back and we never really saw him die. And I don't think anyone would be mad if he did come back, even to just fight Garo. And instead of Saitama meeting Boros, what if Garo met Boros on his ship? Awaken Garo versus Boros would be amazing. I think there would have been way more destruction than Boros and Saitama had because Boros didn't really cause any besides the ship. Cities would have been destroyed if Boros and Garo fought. Take it easy, bro. Hey, thank you so much for your continued patronage, Nate Dogg. Means the world to me, my friend. So, realistically speaking, we're probably not going to see Boros or his species again, or at least not in the manga. If we do, I think the best chance of it is probably like in an OVA or something. But the OVAs in Season 1 were never really that extravagant. Things like having Boros' species come and stuff like that. We've never really gotten anything like that, but I think that's the best chance we're going to see it. Also, there could be like a O-make or a bonus chapter with it, but just like in the actual story itself, I think the odds are very slim of that happening, unfortunately. But like you said, no one would be mad at it. I certainly wouldn't be. I think characters coming back to life, as long as it's done well and it's, works with the story, I think it's fantastic. Like the Edo Tensei in Naruto, like that really made the series so much better, in my opinion. Like during the war arc, when there's just Edo Tenseis everywhere, and all of the best characters they've been hyping up throughout of the series are just suddenly on the battlefield, because why not? I think that was amazing. And if they did something like that in any series, like One Piece and just, One Punch Man here, like bringing back Boros, bringing back all of the other monsters that have died, and then just have them fight, I think that would be incredible. But Boros specifically, just because, Boros is a very special character in this series. He represents, like, just absolute power, like the top of the power scale. And it's really hard to imagine anyone really being able to defeat him besides Saitama. So bringing him back and throwing him against someone like Awakened Garo would be incredible. I mean, this is like one of the most hyped up hypothetical matches in the community. I mean, whenever you talk to like a hardcore fan, the conversation is going to usually it's going to lead towards like Boros versus Awakened Garo, who wins? And the fact that we're never going to see that is kind of unfortunate, but we could. Like, they could just make some kind of VGS, virtual genocide simulation bonus chapter where, I don't know, they put the VGS on Garo for some reason, and in the VGS he's able to become awakened and he fights against Boros. Easy, right there. But unfortunately we're not going to see it, but I would totally be on board if Boros come back. I mean, I've even made like 3 videos talking about that, I think, before they got privated, of course. Joshua M. Salutations, Shonen. Great to be back. My first question today is, what character do you like in fiction that everyone else seems to despise? For me, the choice would be Ribrianne from Dragon Ball Super. I can't explain it, but I found her to be absolutely hilarious, and I desperately wanted her to do something important in the arc. My second question is, are you planning on getting Elder Scrolls 6? I know you're a big fan of Skyrim. Question is, what province would you prefer to be set Elder Scrolls 6 in? High Rock, homeland of the Brightons, or Hammerfall, homeland of the Redguards? Also, final question of today, if you can have any supernatural ability, what would you desire to have? Hey, thank you so much for your patronage, Josh. Thanks for coming back, my friend. And I'll try my best to make that Chose video. I mean, like I said, I'm going to have to find some fan art on Chose, because if I put a panel in, then the Yakuza is going to come and castrate me. So I need to be careful with it, but I will definitely make it for you, my friend. I just need to figure out how to do it accurately. So I understand why you like Ribrianne, and I think that the foundation, I'll say, for a character like Ribrianne being likable is there, but I just don't think Dragon Ball Super did it well. And I'm not hating on Dragon Ball Super here. I really like Dragon Ball. I like Dragon Ball Super, but it lacks character building and character development and just good characters in general, especially in Super. Like, of course, they already have the big characters established, like Vegeta, Goku, Trunks, all of the main cast, so they're fine. But when they try to introduce new characters, especially in the Tournament of Power, they just come across weak, and I think Ribrianne is one of them. I get what they're going for. I know that she's trying to be unlikable, but somehow likable at the same time. I get it, but I just don't think they succeeded with Ribrianne. They could have did it better, but I just don't think they cared enough. So for me, the character that I personally like, that everyone else seems to despise, I'll even give you 2. Izuku, Deku from My Hero, and Ochaku, or Araka, from My Hero as well. I like both of these characters. And it seems like most people despise them for some reason because, I don't know, I guess they saw a couple episodes from Season 1 and they've made up their minds as to them just being shitty characters. And that's too bad because, yeah, I guess in the beginning they seemed to be unlikable, cliche, and just not that well made. But as you get past Season 1, you start to realize that they are actually really good characters, and they have a whole bunch of realistic, relatable struggles, and that they do work for what they have, and they come a long way, and they do mature in their own specific ways, and they become very likable characters, in my opinion. I mean, I'm not expecting everyone to read all 223 chapters of My Hero to understand why these characters are good, but all you got to do is really just watch the first and second seasons. You don't even have to go into the third season if you don't want to. I just think they're great characters, and it's just too bad that the reception that they get. But like I said with Rib Brienne, I get it, I understand, and I don't expect everyone to be on board with it. Elder Scrolls 6, of course, I really hope that I'm just alive by the time that game comes out. I hope we all are, because it's going to be out in like 4 years at this point, I guess. Based off of what I've read, it seems like it's coming out in like 2023 or something like that, but man, I'm really looking forward to that game. I'm just going to shut my life down for like 2 months so I can just live in that world and just play it every single day. That's kind of what I did with like Elder Scrolls. Like, I would just come home from school and then just play Skyrim, and then nothing else in my life would really matter. I'm sure a lot of people did that too. But as for where it would be set, I never really thought about it, but I think it's going to be set in Argonia. The, like those lizard people's world. Something like that. I think that would be cool too, because why not? The Lusty Argonian Maid, everyone's a fan of that light novel. But the other one, the High Rock and Hammerfell, they would be cool too. And if I can have any supernatural ability, I don't know, does super strength count as supernatural? I'm not really into like clairvoyance and stuff like that. Those don't really interest me. I would just really be, if I had to choose one, it would just be super strength, because I could have so much fun with that, honestly. Joseph K. Hey, Shonen, hope you're doing well. Quick question. What is your personal favorite scene in a film, anime, manga that just made you think, hell yeah? As much as I love all the moments in My Hero, I think my favorite is Attack on Titan when Eren blocks the hole in the wall. Have a great week, man. Hey, thank you so much, Joseph. I really do appreciate it so much, my friend. So, yeah, Eren blocking the wall, great moment, of course. But me, personally, I always keep going back to when Whitebeard beat the crap out of Akainu. I don't know, just something about that scene is so amazing to me. It's so cathartic, because it's like you just hate Akainu. And I know a lot of people like him. I kind of like him too. I think he's kind of a cool character just because he's so evil, but yet good at the same time in a way. But just like the way that the whole arc was going, it is all leading up to like Whitebeard just trying to just beat the crap out of someone, and he finally gets to go against Akainu, and this is like after Akainu killed Ace. So like it's like, I don't know, Whitebeard is like picking up the emotions of the audience and like putting it into him, and then the beating that he does give Akainu is just so satisfying. And like I said, very cathartic in so many ways. One of my favorite sequences in all of anime and manga. Just iconic. G Tiger 798 asks, hey Zaddy, who do you think is going to win, Holloway or Poirier? And how did you get into MMA? And if you weren't a content creator, would you try to be a professional fighter? And what is your forte? Wrestling, boxing, kickboxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, etc., etc. Hope that isn't too private to ask, and have a good day. Hey, thank you for your continued patronage, G Tiger. I love you, man. Thank you so much. So I think Holloway is going to win, no problem. He only really has to avoid Poirier's power, and then it's pretty much his game. Like, he's better at everything than Poirier is. The only advantage that Poirier has over Holloway is power, I guess, and that could even be debatable, I guess, but we really haven't seen Holloway at 155 pounds yet, so he might gain power from not having to cut weight. We've seen that a lot, actually, with former fighters going up in weight, and they gain strength and whatnot. So yeah, I think Holloway has this in the bag. He's just way too good for Poirier. He's way too good for most fighters, honestly. He's just really ascended to the highest level of MMA currently, in my opinion. So how did I get into MMA? I just kind of, caught it on... I caught The Ultimate Fighter, that reality show on TV when I was in middle school. And I fell in love with it, and ever since then I haven't looked back. I wouldn't be a professional fighter if I wasn't a YouTuber, because it's a really hard life, and you're constantly getting your head banged in on the daily, and it's very likely that you'll receive CTE, which is like brain damage. Like what you've seen from football players and MMA fighters, what people refer to as like punch drunk. It's more so now CTE, and it leads to so many awful problems in your life. And it's like either you need to be absolutely in love with MMA, and you need to know that this is what your life is about if you truly want to be one. Like, you can't have one foot in and one foot out. Because if you do, you're just going to waste your brain's health, and you're just not going to be able to go to where you want. So yeah, that's mainly why I don't want to do it. Just because like I enjoy the art of fighting. I like training. I like sparring. I like rolling, but I don't want to fight. It's just, I don't know. I'm just not that type of person. I don't even want to fight anyone on the street. If I could go the rest of my life without ever having to fight another person, I think that would be great. But sparring, touch sparring, and grappling and rolling, that's all fun and whatnot. But I'm just not a warrior like that. I'm not willing to trade my brain's health for a career in fighting. And I'm not saying that anything's wrong with that. I have utmost respect for anyone who does it. It's just not me. And my forte is mainly, I guess, like wrestling, boxing, and kickboxing, jiu-jitsu. Like most of the time, fighters today are just extremely well-rounded because they learn that way. I was fortunate enough to be able to wrestle in school, so I learned it from there. And then I picked up boxing and Muay Thai after that, and it kind of just incorporated all into one well-rounded game. I prefer to stand and stuff takedowns and whatnot, but if I have to take someone down with like a blast double or something, then I have it. But yeah, thank you, G Tiger. Joseph K, we got him. Phoenix Man, Raul, Steven. Got him. Steven. Wolf Pup. Here we go. Wolf Pup. Amazing patron. King versus Chuck Norris. Who you got? Fun fact, a hungry wolf can eat 20 pounds of meat in a single meal, which is akin to a human being eating 100 hamburgers. Wow. I think I remember hearing that on Joe Rogan once. It's pretty amazing nonetheless. King versus Chuck Norris. So I guess we have to go off of the legends of these characters. Chuck Norris, I guess, is a character now, but we have to go off of the legends of them because, of course, if it was like a physical fight, Chuck Norris would likely win. So yeah, King is extremely powerful, at least in my opinion. He has the meta luck, allegedly, and it'll essentially just come down to Saitama saving him if need be. So is Chuck Norris's legend more powerful than Saitama becoming the stand for King? And I guess it is, just because like when Chuck Norris memes were gigantic like 10 years ago, he was like being compared to God. So I guess that means that he is more powerful than the meta luck of King. So yeah, just based off of that, I mean, yeah, Chuck Norris likely wins, unfortunately, just because he's hyped up more. Zapad B. What is the answer to life, the universe, and everything? Thank you for your continued patronage, Zapad. I really appreciate you sticking around, my friend. So the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Universe, which I'm sure you're getting this from, the answer is 42. I'm not sure why it was, but that is like the answer to this question. But if you're like asking me legitimately, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, I guess from a pragmatic stance, it would be to gain power and conquer, I guess. But if you're looking at it from just like a utilitarian stance, I guess it's just like do whatever you want to make your life happy, but just don't hurt others. I mean, that's what I live by. And then, of course, there's like a real literal stance of where it's just like multiply, like just keep spreading the human race, I guess, in a way. Oh, wow. Zimzam. Thank you for your donation, my friend. Hey, Shonen, Josh M here. Oh, Zimzam is Josh. I think I knew that. Hey, thanks, Josh. I'm excited to riff on movie tonight with you, Shonen. I'm also happy you're doing the hero quiz. Thanks for being a good boy. Oh, no, actually, it's next weekend, Josh. I wanted to give you guys a week in advance, but yeah, it's going to be next week, the 14th. To everyone else listening, if you want to come on Patreon, just $1, we're going to be watching the movie Biohunter from 1995. I haven't seen this movie yet, but I've heard legends about it, so I wanted to watch it with all my patrons. It's going to be a good time. I know Tekking does this too. This is where I got the idea from. But yeah, it's going to be next week. Biohunter 1995, 5 o'clock p.m. next Sunday. And again, thank you, Josh. You're the man, honestly. And I'm going to get working on that show's video. I just need to find some fan art for him. Oh, here we go. My granny. My granny has become a patron of mine. Thank you so much, Granny. One stated Tatsumaki at full strength could beat Golden S. Well, what if Multi S version that died earlier also had combined with Golden S? I think it would be a good fight, but still end in the favor of Tatsumaki. Also, it seems in Season 3 webcomic, Metal Knight and Saitama are on a collision course. It makes me wonder if something similar happened with Blast, and maybe that's why we no longer see him around. So thank you so much, my granny, for your patronage. I appreciate it so much. So this is a good question, and I really wanted to make a video about this, but, unfortunately I can't anymore. So, if Golden S were to gain the other 1 trillion cells that he has, and essentially went to his absolute full power, I guess minus the 100 Black S that we see at the very end of the arc, I'm not sure if he would be... I'm not sure how much stronger he would be. So Golden S still wasn't fast enough to directly hit Tatsumaki. Like, at the very last second, she was able to put up a barrier to stop his strikes from hitting her directly. Or at least that is what is said in the webcomic. So and this was a weakened Tatsumaki, who I guess is at, like, I don't know, 60, 70% of her power, maybe even less than that. So if we're going up another level there, 1 million more to his already 10 million merger, 10 trillion, so he'd be like 11 trillion merger. Maybe he would be equal in power to Tatsumaki at her full power at that point. So then it's really like a coin flip, I suppose. Because would he be fast enough to hit her before she could stop him? Not sure. I think it would be very competitive. That's all I can really say for now. I mean, I guess I'm inclined to lead towards Tatsumaki because, I don't know, she just seems to be, like, overwhelmingly powerful at her full strength. Like, she was able to lift Saitama just with her Esper strength, so that's pretty damn impressive. I don't think Golden S could probably replicate something like that. Just taking a guess. But we really have to see Golden S in the manga because his webcomic feats are kind of wonky, in my opinion. And as for Metal Knight, Saitama, and Blast, yeah, that for sure is going to happen. We are going to see Metal Knight taking on Saitama. I mean, at least that's what has set it up. It's been set up that way, so I guess we're going to see it. But as for Blast going away because of Metal Knight, I don't think that's the case. I don't think Metal Knight... Well, Metal Knight doesn't really talk about Blast. So I guess he doesn't really have anything to do with him. I mean, hardly anybody really talks about Blast. Only, like, Sitch and Tatsumaki have, like, directly spoken about Blast. And then every other instance of him being mentioned was kind of just, like, thrown away or just, like, supplementary to a conversation or something. But I also don't think Metal Knight is strong enough to intimidate Blast like that. I mean, of course, we don't know his full potential and, like, what he's fully capable of yet, but I just don't think someone like Blast would be intimidated by Metal Knight. The way that I'm taking away from the story is that Blast just went away because he doesn't want to be the face of the Hero Association. He doesn't want to be the face of heroes. He said that he just does it for a hobby like Saitama. So I guess once the S-Class heroes were fully established and they showed that they can control things, I think he kind of was like, I'm not needed anymore. You know, maybe I'll come out for Disaster Level God, but anything other than that, I guess the S-Class heroes can take care of it. I'm not really needed here. It is a possibility that Metal Knight had something to do with it. I just don't think he did. And that's just my opinion. I don't know what Metal Knight could really do to take on somebody like Blast, or at least how powerful he is implied to be. So I think that's all of them. Yeah, that's all of the Patreon questions. Guys, thank you so much, my patrons. I'm sure you weren't able to get on the live stream, but if you're watching this after the fact, thank you so much. Yeah, I wish things could be different, but I just have to wait until June, and it just seems like my channel's probably just going to die just from people not being interested anymore until then, and I don't blame you. I know it sucks right now, but I'm working on it. I'll make it better. And I just really do appreciate everyone who has stuck by. Thank you so much, everyone, especially guys in the chat. We've got Lolicon God, we've got Marley Key 2000, Gogeta Blue, Skinny Penis. You guys got great names. Geometry Squared, Josh Gist, Phoenix Man, Zim Zam, Josh M. All you guys, thank you so much. You guys deserve better, and I'll work towards that.